Welcome back, everybody. This is Tobias with Eldritch Bear Productions, and today we're going over one of my personal and favorite commander decks that I have built. We are talking about Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. If you don't know what Golos is or what it does, you, like me, have not played Standard in quite a long time then. And this guy is amazing. I understand why he's so powerful in Standard. But he's also very powerful as a commander. Golos Tireless Pilgrim is a 5-mana, 3/5. He's generic mana, but he's a 5-color commander because of this ability, which costs Wooburgen 2, that lets you cast 2 creature cards. 3 cards off of the top of your library without paying their mana cost. Now, those cards are exiled once you activate the ability. He also searches your library for any land card and puts it into play. I'll put this right here next to the my local game store logo. If you're ever in my local area, which is Henderson, Kentucky, please check out our game shop, Knights Comics and Games. But let's get right into the commander deck. First, we have my enchantments and artifacts that I run into the deck. Now, this is a Superfriends deck. I run about 22 Planeswalkers in the deck. It is the main strategy of the deck. But let's look at the enchantments. Carpet of Flowers. Carpet of Flowers, during your main phase, you may add up to X mana of any one color of one color to your mana pool, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. So if you sit down and you're playing against somebody that's playing islands, this is going to ramp you pretty much every turn. Pernicious Deed. Pernicious Deed says, sacrifice Pernicious Deed, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less, where you can pour X into its activation cost. Pretty awesome card, probably the best removal in the deck because of its mana cost being so low, plus it doesn't hit your Planeswalkers, so pretty great. Cindervine, becoming closely a staple in a lot of my decks. Whenever people are playing non-creature spells and in a 4-way commander game, there's going to be a lot of them. This can generate tons and tons of damage. Plus it disenchants. Sylvan Library, really good in most decks, but even better in this one because you can just kind of stack the top of your library with whatever cards you want to play for free with Golos. Smothering Tithe. I mean, you're going to make lots of mana with this card. Oath of Teferi. This is probably one of the best enchantments in the deck. One of the 2 best enchantments in the deck because being able to activate Planeswalkers' abilities twice in a turn. Very powerful. Planeswalkers are very powerful. Plus, in this deck, I tried to fill it with the most powerful Planeswalkers I can have, and sometimes I can use one of their generic abilities and then ulti on the very next turns, or in the same turn with this card in play. Next we have Doubling Season, the second most powerful, or one of the 2 most powerful enchantments in the deck. Doubling Season, being able to have your doubling up your tokens, your Planeswalkers coming in with double the loyalty counters, being able to ulti Planeswalkers immediately. This is a great card. Bolas' Citadel, becoming a staple in a lot of my decks that run black because being able to use your mana as your life as a resource to play cards on the top of your library is great. Plus, I generate a ton of different kinds of tokens in this deck, so that sacrifice 10 permanents, each opponent loses 10 life, can be game ending. Blackblade Reforged, being a Planeswalker deck, it is also a land ramp deck, so equipping this to Golos, 2 turns, baby, and we're going to be taking you out. This swings hard. Swiftfoot Boots. Gotta protect your babies. Soul Ring. What can I say about Soul Ring? It's a staple. Astral Cornucopia. Astral Cornucopia is a powerful mana rock with Proliferate because it can generate tons and tons of mana. But it kind of sucks when you hit it with Golos, when you kind of just blindly activate him. Because this just comes down as a useless artifact, and that's no fun because you want to tap it and make mana. And if you can't tap it and make mana, we're just not happy. Chromantic Lantern. This card, I mean, we're playing 5 colors, so sometimes our mana gets a little muddled up, and you don't want that to happen, and this makes it to where all your cards tap for any color. Sensei's Top. Set up the top of your library, set up your draw, set up your Golos. Well, look at what your Golos is going to get you. Contagion Class. Proliferate. Plus you give someone -1/-1 counter. Contagion Class. Give every creature a player controls -1/-1 counters and proliferate twice. That's pretty great. Prismatic Geoscope. This is probably the best land rock or mana rock in the deck because it comes into play, and most of the time it's going to be generating 5 mana because it's basic land types, and all my shock lands have basic land types, and it's very rarely that this isn't tapping for 4 or 5, and when it's tapping for 5, it's going to generate infinite mana with a couple cards in the deck. And I'm going to set those cards to the side so we can talk about them afterwards. The Chain Veil. One thing interesting about the Chain Veil I didn't know, this ability stacks, so if you're being able to untap with some of the untap abilities, you can generate lots of Planeswalker activations. So that's really, really awesome, very powerful. Plus, it's part of the infinite combo with this card right here. So we're gonna set this one down here so we can talk about it later. All right, that wraps up the artifact and enchantment portion. Let's go into the creatures. Now, we don't have a whole lot of creatures in here, but the creatures we do have are, I mean, they're backbreaking. They're great. They're awesome. Evolutionary Sage. Whenever you play a land, proliferate. Tireless Tracker. Making clues with every land you play. I mean, not only can that make him infinitely big, but it also feeds my my Balls of Citadel's activated ability. Plus, I mean, you use those to refill your hand after a big turn or something. So this is really great. This is a new addition. I haven't quite gotten to use him yet, but I'll tell you the idea behind using him. Primacon Sky Rampant. You choose left or right when he comes into play. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent to the chosen direction, and Planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. So I'm going to choose the direction of the guy that's not too threatening, or isn't trying to attack my Planeswalker creatures, so I can keep my Planeswalkers alive and, you know, not worry about them dying when I pass turn and go through 3 rounds of people hating on me because I like playing with Planeswalkers. The next one is the Feyburrow Elder. Feyburrow Elder says he gets a +1/+1 counter for each color among permanents you control. And you can tap it for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. He can generate a lot of mana and be a beater. Next we get into the game enders, the win cons, the creatures that get me there. The creatures that, in the game, these guys are the potato to the meat and potatoes of this deck. The Bioessence Hydra. Kenrith the Return King, I will say I wasn't too impressed at first, but I wanted to add him in here because I've seen that the standard decks that were playing Golos were also playing this guy, and I was like, well, I kind of want to check him out because I was like, does these abilities really affect me? I can see where the target player draws a card, but let me tell you what, I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong because he is awesome. Because I can generate a ton of mana with this. I can go infinite with mana and just use any one of these abilities to kill opponents. I can deck an opponent. I can go gain infinite life. I can make everyone infinitely big, or just make one person huge, and then give him trample and haste. Madrothic the Gravetide. I want to play things for my graveyard, and this guy lets me play things for my graveyard. Maelstrom Wanderer gives all my creatures haste, and then he cascades Cascade. Because we all like free spells, and there's like only 1 Planeswalker he can't hit with this, and I think only 2 creatures that he can only hit, that he can't hit. So, I mean, he hits pretty much the rest of the deck. Narset Enlightened Master, the MVP, The big Mama Jamma, she's almost good enough to be the commander herself, but we wouldn't be able to play the other two good colors, the green and the black, so we really want to play the other two colors. But she is really great as part of the 99. Being able to get 4 free cards off the top of the library, I mean, besides the creatures and the lands, she earns her place. I mean, she's won me many games just by getting free stuff off the top of my library. Now we're going to talk about my two fatties, the two people with the most junk in the trunk. Emrakul the Promised End. I usually try to get him with Nahiri the Harbinger. He's part of the 2-card package that comes with Nahiri. Being able to mind control somebody for a turn is pretty great. Plus he has protection from instants, flying, and trample. 13/13. And I can just cast this guy without having to cheat him into play, because he costs 1 less for each card type among cards in your graveyard. So he could be cheap, 7-8 mana for a 13/13. That's great. Powerful. Awesome. Blightsteel Colossus, the second part of the Too Much Junk in the Trunk package for Nahiri. This guy, he's a one-hit KO. He is my powerful left hook in this deck. He does the job. He gets the job done. Awesome. And that is it for the creatures. Let's get into the instants and sorceries. I don't have a ton of instances. I think I only have 1 instance in the deck. Let's find out. I should know this because I built the deck. Enlightened Tutor, she is the instant of the deck. I'm usually going to go get Bolas the Citadel with this, or Doubling Season. Demonic Tutor, I can get whatever I want. You don't even know about it. Call the Gatewatch, go get any Planeswalker. But, I mean, you're... Ink Rook's Wait, destroy all my opponent's creatures and all their Planeswalkers. I get to keep mine, but yours gotta go. Wrath of God, sometimes you gotta blow up the world. Supreme Verdict also blows up the world. Vindicate, get rid of something annoying. This card that's annoying. Let's get rid of it. Tempt with Discovery. This is probably becoming... I really didn't like playing with the Tempting Offer cards, but now I really like playing with the Tempting Offer cards. Because when people say yes and you just get a whole bunch of stuff, oh, so much fun. So much mana, so much power, because you can just go get whatever land you want. Cultivate, land ramp. Farseek, also land ramp. Rampant Growth is land ramp, and that is the end of my instances of sorceries. Now, my creatures might have been the meat, or the potatoes, but this is the meat to my meat and potatoes. This is the namesake of the deck. This is why it is Golos Superfriends, because I run so many Planeswalkers. And let's get into what the first Planeswalker is. Wrenn 6, he fixes my land base, he lets me get my fetch lands back. If someone is a jerk and plays Strip Mine or Wasteland, mostly Strip Mine though, and Strip Mines my lands, he can get it back for me. So, plus his other 2 abilities, the -1 being able to deal 1 damage to a creature, that's actually pretty good. I've gotten rid of quite a bit of things with that. And the -7 being able to, my instant sorceries having retrace, it's pretty good too. Because it's really fun being able to Demonic Tutor every turn, just by discarding a land, and playing the mana cost. Narset Departer of Veils, this card makes me a jerk. Saheeli Sublime Artificer, there's a lot of non-creature spells in this, so I make a ton of colorless servos. Then I can make those servos into my mana rocks and make tons and tons of mana. Oko, Thief of Crowns, haven't gotten to play this guy, but I mean, he's taking a standard by storm and he's being played in every format. I can see why it's good, because I'm going to turn your stuff into Elks, and then I'm going to take Elks. Kiora, blah blah blah. Behemoth Reckoner, use the untapped mana. Sometimes I get to draw a card with it. Rouserick, being able to untap my mana rocks, that's what I wanted to do. Plus he untaps other things, he also lightning bolts players, and he lets me, flip coins, which is fun, and take extra turns from the flip. So, and I've almost gone infinite with taking the flip, taking so many extra turns. Johnny Vengeant, he is super duper great because he's probably one of my favorite Planeswalkers. He's one of the first Planeswalkers I ever owned. He Armageddon's 1 player I mean, it can Armageddon every player if I play it right, but that Armageddon's fun. Plus, the other two abilities aren't half bad either. Tamio, Field Researcher. I mean, Omniscience is amazing. We all know that. And she's Omniscience. Plus, she draws me cards. But these other two abilities are pretty good, too. Sorin, Solemn Visitor. Give all my tokens lifelink. Make my players hate me because they get rid of a creature each turn. Nahiri, the Harbinger. We gonna make fatties. We gonna go get fatties. We gonna go make fatties. This is how we do it. These other two abilities are good. You gotta use this one to get here. Unless doubling season in play, then you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, we gotta use that one to get there. Which is good because we can get discard junk to get something else. Or we can get rid of something pesky that we don't like. Kiora, the Crashing Wave. All her abilities are really good, but I see myself using the -1 most of the time, which is draw a card, play an extra land, which is explore. Nick Bolas, Dragon God. Probably the progenitor of this deck, because originally my Golos deck was a Joda deck, and I slid him inside Joda when I pulled him from a pre-release, and the first time I casted him, I was able to activate his ability, and I got him and 2 other really powerful cards off the top of the library, and right then I was like, yep, Joda, you're out. Golos, you're in. You're the new. You're going to be the new 5-color commander deck, or commander of the deck. Tezzeret the Seeker. He gets my mana rocks. He untaps my mana rocks, and he is the last part of the infinite mana combo, or infinite planeswalker activation combo. So I'm going to set him down there so we can talk about him later. Shark and the Masterless. I like dragons. I like making my planeswalker dragons. He makes dragons. He wins games. Johnny, Mentor of Heroes. I mean, it's just so good. Nisa, Vital Force, being able to play a land, make lands 5/5s, beat people up with them, return one of your planeswalkers or something that you lost to your hand, or just play a land and get card draw off it. It's just so awesome, so powerful. I play her in Modern Jund. I'm going to play her in every commander deck that I can fit her in. She's so good. Sandra, Awakened Inferno. I really like this card because you get an emblem from her +2 that says ping opponents. And you got stuff like Oath of Teferi in play or the Chain Veil. You're going to do that a lot. You're going to make a lot. And it's going to lightning bolt people. It's going to shock people over time. She can end games. She can help end games fast. Elspeth, I mean, look at her. She does it all. Teferi, he does quite a bit himself, but his -1 is probably the most powerful ability that he has. Soren Markov makes me a douchebag. He puts me on a DB list. He puts people's life totals to 10. People hate me for it too. Sometimes I get a little tricky though. I like to mind control them, but this is Japanese and you can't read it. So let me tell you what his abilities does. His +2 drains life and gains you 2 life from a player. His -3 puts someone's life total from whatever it is to 10, and his -7 is a mind control. Nicobolus Dragon God, or God Pharaoh. Lot of text on this guy. He does a lot of good stuff. He's almost game ending. He is game ending. Why am I being so humble? He is game ending. And Nicobolus Planeswalker, the last Planeswalker in here. The oldest and most powerful Planeswalker, probably in all the Planeswalkers I have. Not really. There are other better Planeswalkers, but I like to give dramatic effect to him. He's super good though. I mean, there's a lot of abilities. I can gain control of target creatures, I can destroy non-creature permanents, or I can Cruel Ultimatum somebody. And that is the end of my Planeswalkers. Now we're going to get into the land part, and because it's so boring to go over lands, I'm just going to flip through it really, really fast, so bear with me. There are a few interesting lands at the end, so let's just get through it really fast. Yeah, there's the good stuff. Here's some more good stuff. Let's get to some other good stuff. still needing some of the fetch lands. I'm slowly collecting them. Yeah, here's Field of the Dead, just got banned in Standard. This is a reason why you want to... I mean, if you're playing Standard and you're unsure about playing Commander, this is a card to get you to play more Commander. I mean, you get to play Field of the Dead, and apparently it was so good it got banned. Hall of Heliod's Generosity, I want to keep my... I really want to keep my Doubling Season. I don't like it when people destroy my Doubling Season. It happens. So, let's go over this 3-card combo right here. This 3-card combo will net me infinite mana if the conditions are right, but it also nets me infinite Planeswalker activations. So, with this, I can kill people with pretty much any Planeswalker I have. But a few examples, a few of the things that I like to go for are things like Sandra, Awakened Inferno. You can just give everyone, I mean, put 40 emblems on people and pass turn. That's all you got to do to win. Pass turn. I mean, you can kill with Sword and just keep draining everybody for 2 life. You'll have to just let them know that you're doing it. Nick Bolas, God Pharaoh, just drain every... Use it at -4, hit somebody for 7, just keep hitting them for 7. I mean, you can do other things. I mean, you can't use the negatives infinitely. You got to use the pluses a couple times, because if you just keep using negatives, you're going to lose your Planeswalkers, obviously. But what I'm saying is, you use that plus so you can use that negative again, if you get what I mean. Alright, and there's a few other things, like, even with Golos, you're making infinite mana, so you can just play your deck. Just play everything. Play it all. The next one that I would like to go over, that works as a win condition, is Kenrith, and this is one of the reasons why he earned his place in the deck. Is because with infinite mana, I can use all of his abilities. I can deck somebody, make you draw your entire deck, because it says target player. I can gain infinite life, or I can make one of my creatures infinitely big and give it trample and haste and just kill somebody. I mean, that's very powerful. But I think I've rambled on here enough. This is, like I said, this is my Golos Commander deck. It's one of my personal decks. It's one of my favorite decks. And if you like this video and you would like to see more like it, please hit that like, subscribe, and feel free to comment. You think there's a better card that I can be playing in this deck? Let me know. But like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss a video. And have fun. Keep playing on, guys.